And verily there was much of the heroic in their adoration, and they did not know how to love their God, except by what did the Christians do to their God? Because they couldn't figure out another way to love him, so they crucified him. They put him on a cross. If you take Jesus' hanging on the cross as a historical, inspiring narrative that was put together over ages because it is a nice story that inspires some people in a gruesome way, rather than the truth handed from on high. Okay, so which one do you take it as? Is the Bible a fiction story woven together by man because it spoke to past peoples in some way, or is the Bible truth handed from on high? Well, obviously it's not true. So the Jesus myth, which may have been centered on a real man, Christianity did that to Jesus, not because there was an actual historical event. Christianity focused in on that myth and has been obsessed with that myth, and the whole cult of Christianity has come from this myth because the philosophy of anti-worldism and pro-heavenism couldn't end in anything else besides to hate their God, who they have called the opposite of everything that they are. That's how they define God. God is noble, man is earthly. Jesus came and visited us, and what did the evil do? Crucified him. As corpses they meant to live. In black they decked out their corpses. Out of their speech, too, I still smell the bad odor of death chambers. So he says, just in the speech that religious people use, you can smell the bad odor of death chambers. Whoever lives near them lives near black ponds, out of which an ominous frog sings its song with sweet melancholy. Yuck. They would have to sing better songs for me to learn to have faith in their Redeemer, and his disciples would have to look more redeemed. Well, I didn't see a picture of the disciples, but fine. Naked would I see them, for only beauty should preach repentance. I would see them as naked, because to teach repentance they would have to be beautiful. So he equates naked with beautiful there. But who would be persuaded by this muffled melancholy? Verily, their redeemers themselves did not come out of freedom and the seventh heaven of freedom. Verily, they themselves have never walked on the carpets of knowledge. Okay. Put that in your pocket. It's not particularly profound, but we've gotten to the end of it. Of gaps was the spirit of these redeemers made up, but into every gap they put their delusions, their stopgap, which they called God. Their whole world's made up of gaps, and they put God everywhere that there was a gap. We skip a sentence. Eagerly and with much shouting they drove their herd over their path, as if they were but a single path to the future. Yeah, acting like this is the only way. Verily these shepherds themselves belonged among the sheep. Small spirits and spacious souls these shepherds had. Okay, so they did have spacious souls, but what small domains have even the most spacious souls proved to be so far? So even the most spacious, they have a big heart, they have a big soul. That's a small domain on the scale of things, says Nietzsche. They wrote signs of blood on the way they walked, and their folly taught that with blood one proved truth. Remember, these are preachers. But blood is the worst witness of truth. Blood poisons even the purest doctrine and turns it into delusion and hatred of the heart. And if a man goes through fire for his doctrine, what does that prove? Verily, it is more if your own doctrine comes out of your own fire. That's better. Don't take some other doctrine and go through fire for it. Burn yourself and create a doctrine, whatever the hell that means. Never yet has there been an overman. Naked I saw both the greatest and the smallest man. They are still all too similar to each other. So within humanity there is some variation, but not enough, not much. Verily, even the greatest I found to be all too human. Thus spoke Zarathustra. On the virtuous. Slack and sleeping senses must be addressed with thunder and heavenly fireworks. Alright, so people who are asleep, people who haven't been listening, people who are not with it in life. You want to address them, you have to use fireworks. But the voice of beauty speaks gently. Aha, so this is a conundrum. This is a catch-22. You want to speak to someone who's not awake and listening, and yet you've got a soft voice, because it's the voice of beauty, truth. It creeps only into the most awakened souls. Okay, so you can't speak with fireworks, and that's what you would need to get into these people that are asleep. You have to speak softly with beauty and truth. Only into the most awakened souls. Very nice. About you, the virtuous, my beauty laughed today. So there's virtue and beauty are different things. And thus its voice came to me. They still want to be paid. So beauty came to him and said, the virtuous want payment. Who are you virtuous that still want to be paid? Do you want rewards for your virtue and heaven for earth and the eternal for your today? So he wants to introduce a dichotomy between being virtuous and getting some reward. But hold on. And now you are angry with me because I teach that there is no reward and paymaster. Now, if you tag in there that there has to be a paymaster if there's a reward, now you're talking weird stuff. But shouldn't the manna of the universe just reward virtue? And verily I do not even teach that virtue is its own reward. Well, it seems that's what you're doing. Okay, so he wants a dichotomy between reward and virtue. But he's not saying virtue is its own reward. Alas, that is my sorrow, that virtue is not its own reward. They have lied reward and punishment into the foundation of things, and now also into the foundation of your souls, you who are virtuous. Now all I can say to that is, where he says that reward and punishment are in the foundation of things, that is not something that's been put there by religion or by philosophy or bad teaching over time or anything like that. In fact, religion and philosophy have to glom on to that presence of reward and punishment, because that's how humans stay alive, that's how they live. That's where the pleasure of life comes from, the pain in life comes from. Rewards and punishments in our physical being, our body, and our mind. So, I don't know what he can only say so much against it. He can only be poetic about it. My words shall tear open the foundation of your souls. A plowshare will I be to you. Okay, like a plow, he's going to, and like a plow, when he's done, he's gonna rip up your ground, and when he's done, there will be some possibility of something new. All the secrets of your foundation shall come to light, and when you lie uprooted and broken in the sun, then will your lies also be separated from your truths. Now there's a nice visual, if you want a visual, of what nihilism is supposed to mean for Nietzsche. It's like a plowed field where all the truths in the foundation have been broken and destroyed, and they're lying in the sun ready for a new situation. For this is your... Now, see, it's poetic, it's nice, but you can't go around saying I want to destroy all values. It's not responsible. For this is your truth. You are too pure for the filth of these words. Ready for the words? There's 4 of them. You're too pure for revenge, punishment, reward, retribution. Now, speaking for myself, revenge and retribution are one of the pleasures of life. Punishment and reward, as I just said, are in the base of things. That's a basic thing of humans. So he's a little garbled here, isn't he? You love your virtue as a mother her child, but when has a mother ever wished to be paid for her love? Again, onto the idea that virtue needn't have any reward.